What up, everybody? Earlier in the week, I got a question that was a common question, but phrased in a rather unique way. A really good friend of mine has a in-law who is, in their descriptive terms, a raging liberal, whatever the fuck that means. However, that person is drastically against firearms, but had asked, why do you like guns? What do you like about guns? And eventually the question turned into, will you take me shooting? This is a rather unique opportunity for anybody. First off, one of the greatest signs of trust we get as instructors is when somebody asks us to take care of a family member, to take them to the range, to give them an education, to help them along in some fashion. When you have someone with a drastically opposed viewpoint to something, this is a really unique opportunity to kind of, I don't want to say course correct, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, to bring them over to our side, perhaps. And he asked me, like, what would I bring up first? And I thought about it for a little bit, and I answered him. And then I thought about it a little more throughout the week, and here we are today. So there's two things that I view as drastically important in this realm. The first thing is identification and safety. For me, being able to pick up any firearm handed to me, I've got a 99% chance of being able to safely manipulate that gun and know its ready state. And by that, what I mean is I can pick the gun up, I can chamber check it to make sure it is either loaded when I need it to be or unloaded when I do not want it to be. The other thing that is super beneficial to me is grip. So safety and identification and grip. To me, those are if you can teach that individual nothing else, those are the two aspects of firearm handling I see as the most important. Let me break that down a little better. Whether it's a single action firearm, a safe action firearm, or a revolver, or the various amounts of revolvers out there, being able to identify the control surfaces of that firearm and being able to grab that firearm and maintain it safely, to me, that's everything. Looking at a gun sitting on the table, unless you watched that firearm come out of the safe, watched somebody rack it a bunch of times, check it, shove their finger in the hole, do the hokey pokey, and set it on the table. Absent that behavior or witnessing that act, there's no way for you to know the status of that firearm, the ready status of that gun. Sure, some Glocks will have a chamber indicator, some Springfields have a chamber indicator, but if the individual that's coming to you for this knowledge doesn't have any interaction with firearms prior, how do you help them along? To me, teaching them to properly grip the firearm with a good, firm, fully wrapped control, to me, that's as important as anything else. Along with grip comes, where is this pointed? So teaching them being in the safe direction goes along with grip. Make sure people aren't doing this. Make sure folks aren't, this isn't so bad, but it's real easy to sneak things inside that trigger guard. So for the sake of safety and simplification, just have them grab the gun as the gun is intended to be handled. This is a grip. This is designed for gripping. Make it do the thing. Next, have them understand impart on them the ability to identify if a gun has a safety or if a gun does not have a safety, because that in and of itself will help them in the next step, which is performing a chamber check on that firearm. The slide stop, slide release, whatever you come up with for like whatever your preferred nomenclature is. Some people will get into the weeds on that. That's just freaking stupid. Whether like have them be able to identify a slide stop or a safety, because they don't look the same on every gun, and they're certainly not in the same position. SIGs, they're way far back. Some guns, they're far forward. Some guns don't necessarily have them. PPKs and some Walthers, they're just rip and shoot kind of guns. When you're dealing with revolvers, you might have a hammer safety, but you probably don't have a hammer block. So that person has to be able to identify how to open the gun, look through it, visually confirm that it's empty, close the gun up, and safely set it down. And if they're manipulating the gun like this, there's just too much opportunity for things to go wrong. So we're back to that grip. The grip and being able to manipulate that firearm, knowing the control surfaces, really key. Many people will just grab a gun, look at it, press it a little to the rear and say, okay, now I know. Others will fully run that thing to the rear. But if you do that on this, without removing that, did you just check the gun or did you just cycle the gun? So you have, when you're teaching these things, you need to teach them in the proper order. You want to identify that gun and verify its ready status. Take firm grip of the gun, strip the magazine clear, and then perform any chamber checks you need. Make sure that they're mindful of where that goes and where this finger lives. The booger hook stays off the bang button till you're ready to make things fall down. Whether those things falling down are plates, paper, deck of cards, whatever. But before you go to a range, this should be dealt with. This is where you can get past a lot of the kind of mentalities a lot of people have. This is where you can answer a lot of things. What's a safety? What's a grip safety? What's a mag release? Why is there a mag release on both sides? How come there's a slide stop only on one side of this gun, but it's on two sides of that gun? This is just the handgun aspect. Getting into the rifle side, again, the same rules kind of apply. It's just longer. It's easier to recognize the muzzle getting out of sorts earlier, but the rules are the same. Grip, control surfaces. To me, grip and control surfaces are the most important aspects of helping that individual gain a little bit of knowledge, and through knowledge, a little bit of confidence in how to better interact with these guns. Next thing, don't be the cunt that takes that individual to the range after a good familiarization session and then hand them a Smith & Wesson 500 revolver or a Desert Eagle in 50 cal or your 454 Casull. If you're the dude that does that, yeah, it's really funny for like stupid videos, but you're a cunt. Don't be that guy. Again, if somebody comes to us asking for our opinion in this realm, take that opportunity to do it right. Take that opportunity to bring that individual into the fold. It's kind of all I got. There's a lot more to this. If you want to hear more, hit me up and we can talk about your individual thing. But for now, I'm gonna go hang out with my wife.